America, and it's never action taken. So mentally, it's just exhausting to hear accident, 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 and
Or he should
there's
have
never,
complied. And
there's never any accountability held, and that's too much.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you mean by there's never any accountability held?
Oh, sorry to interrupt the podcast, but Doge is currently at 10 cent.
Yeah, we saw.
But accountability. Yeah. There's never any accountability taken on the police departments. It's
So,
always
Dellz, can you elaborate on what you mean by that? How you just get distracted by whack Doge?
because this is
Doge is
life
whack.
and this is how. Okay, we'll come back to that.
Coinbase IPO is coming tomorrow, so all the damn crypto stocks are all going crazy. But Dellz, back to what you were saying.
Good point.
Look, Eric knows that shit. Accountability. Accountability is more so basically accountability for the police. It's never, oh yes, that person did that. Let's fire them. Let's take them to court. This, and that. Like it's never. They're never held to the standard of a regular person or a civilian or even a freaking doctor. When you even think about it, if a doctor killed you, you could get sued.
And get your license, suspended.
Yeah,
you
like
can't practice.
you could lose everything. But if a cop kills you, it's desk duty. Have a job. You're suspended. There's an investigation, and then you go back to work. Like,
if I could add on to that, like
paid leave.
The impetus of change and the impetus of what could have happened differently is always on the victim. Like, it's never like question what the officer could have done differently in the situation, how they could have handled it differently. Like, and it's like even like the latest excuse of, oh, I didn't know that I wasn't using my taser. Like, it's unacceptable at this point. Like, this is an individual from what we've read and like what we understand that's like a veteran on the force and is like a training officer. So it's like
25.
If you don't know the difference between firing a handgun and firing a taser, you shouldn't be like. That's like, I know that's something that cops are trained on. Like that's like going like I put like a little stupid thing on Facebook today. That's like going to like a pharmacy and you go there getting prescription aspirin and they give you a handful of Percocets. Like, who doesn't know the difference if you're a cop between like a handgun and a taser is unacceptable.
I agree.
Right.
Soundbite made me laugh too. And I have to get used to this caster, but
it's funny.
But it's just tiring. Like overall, man, it's maddening. Like how many people of color got to die by the hands of police officers before it's like any type of change enacted on their end. Like I'm just sick. Like it's my mental health. Like I'm good overall, but it's like I'm just real tired. Just like reading all these trauma stories about somebody getting shot unlawfully because of the mistake or the actions of a officer that's caught up in the moment. Like you gotta have a little bit more. And I understand it's a tough job. Like I'm not trying to say that an officer doesn't have like it's not an easy job. Like their lives are on the line, and I do know that there are good cops out there that do their job properly or whatever have you. But situations like this, it's like it's never questioned whether the cop could have done something differently. And it's like it's just real maddening to keep reading these stories. And it's like you see people that's like, well, if he didn't resist arrest, he wouldn't have gone through this, or if he would have complied, he would have gone through this. Like even if a person doesn't do that, they don't like deserve to die. So what's the point?
I like that. Like when you led with the anytime someone unfortunately passes, it's always placed on like what the victim could have done differently versus what the cop could have done differently.
Yeah, but the crazy part is we've seen two examples of that. Like with Quran, he literally was complying with the cops and talking to the cops and got maced by the cops. Now, then you see Daunte and it's like, well, that was a little bit more because he tried to evade arrest. Like they stopped him, they pulled him out, and he tried to run. But like even when you do comply, is not enough. So like, what is enough? Like, enough is never enough. So like, it's like, what can you do to avoid that situation?
I'm at
So,
risk of dying. I'm going to take my chances getting away.
You're always at risk.
I don't feel no shame in saying that.
so what do you guys think is the answer, quote unquote, to making it better? The relationship between police and the community. Like, if you can't trust the people that are supposed
There
to,
is no relationship between police and the community these days. I feel.
I agree with Eric.
I feel
Like,
like they're
community
I can
just
agree with
policing
that.
in
is,
the community. They're
I can agree with
intruders.
that.
They don't know the community members. They're not connected. Like there's no relationship where it should be the opposite. Like the community members should know who the cops are. They should walk in and not feel in fear of cops or anything like that. Like it's supposed to be a connection there, but that's not what it is. Like when we
like, I
think of
can
cops,
honestly say that when we were younger, cops probably knew more people because the same cops would patrol the same areas when
yeah,
we were younger. Now you get a freaking rookie every other freaking week, and it's like they don't understand the situations that they're in or the places that they're put into, and it's different. They just react because they're scared for their lives. My thing is, if you're scared for your life, don't take that job. Like, I can't be a freaking pest inspector and be like, oh, I'm scared of rats. Like, how am I going to do my job? Like, I
you
can't.
can't.
It's
I agree.
ridiculous.
It's out of hand.
to answer
So
your
do you,
question, we need police reform. The whole system needs to be changed, man.
so are
This shit has been
you
going on. It's been the same way for years. And look at what happens every year, every couple of weeks, almost every other day, basically.
Yeah, it's like
A
every other
black person or a person of color is getting killed, harassed, or something by the hands of police. Why is that the case? And 8 times out of 10, it's not a situation where said person is being a criminal or doing anything criminal. It's always the cops escalating a situation where they put their hands on somebody and they end up dead or in a precinct or in a cop car, most of the times for no reason. When from the jump, if it's a situation where the cops are communicating with people, things won't escalate and happen the way they do.
so how do you
But
feel?
we
Do you
need
feel like it's a society wide thing with police, or do you feel like it's society's handling of minorities? Period.
Oh,
how cops handle minorities. I mean, there's a bigger conversation about racism and all that, and how they fear us. That's a whole nother topic.
I think it's I think it's both
Say
because
well.
you have to understand like policing like that populate the population of people who are policemen and women. That's like a microcosm of society within itself. So they have like societal rules and codes that they live by and whatnot. Like it's it's interesting. Like when it comes to like cops, like they have a saying. I think that once you put on a uniform, like you become blue. Like you have to hold up to like standards of
yeah, no
like you have
messing
to
up.
hold up to like standards of rules of being a policeman or a policewoman. Like you have to back your fellow officers or whatever have you. Like you have to show solidarity in some situations. So it's like a standard that they have to live up to, and if they violate that standard, they could be ostracized and in danger as well. And I'm not saying that as an excuse, but I think that's like that type of society like perpetuates some of the things that happen against minorities too. So like
All right.
it has to change not only from like a legislative position, but it has to change from within too and how they treat each other also.
So
From the ground up.